This is the Independent Dealer Podcast. Education by dealers for dealers. Now, here are your hosts, Luke Godwin and Jeff Watson.
Hello and welcome to the Independent Dealer Podcast, brought to y'all this week by Buckeye Dealership Consulting. Luke, happy Thanksgiving, buddy.
Yeah, happy Thanksgiving to you. I like the way you said y'all there.
Yeah. I was just trying to fit in. I guess you're at your cabin or somewhere. You're up in the
Well,
mountains.
I wish it was
very
my cabin.
backwoodsy. Like I was trying to just fit in with the country folk.
Yeah, sorry guys if I sound maybe a little under the weather or cough a few times today. Been a little sick, which kind of sucks, but thanks for saying y'all, Jeff. I really appreciate that.
Yeah,
Thanks
glad you could join us. You
Yeah.
know, we try to appeal to all demographics of listeners, kind of our country dealers, and then, a smaller demographic but growing is the middle class white woman. So this episode is inspired by them. So appreciate both of them for listening. Does your wife do something called a favorite things party? Have you ever heard of that?
Never heard of that. That must be an LDS type situation, everybody.
I don't know. It could be a Western middle class white woman phenomenon. But what it is all these soccer moms get together and they have a little party and they talk about their favorite thing. So they bring a gift to this party that's something that's been fun for them, enjoyable, whether it's a toy, a program, a lotion.
This could go off the rails really fast, buddy.
Say what?
This could go off the rails really fast.
Again, it's a Mormon party, so it's very G-rated.
Okay.
And they bring this gift, and then they do a gift exchange. So it's kind of like your typical white elephant gift exchange, but it's done with these favorite things. So I thought it'd be kind of fun if we did ours here on the podcast, just as kind of a tip the hat to those two middle class white female listeners we have.
Yeah, and it's Thanksgiving. It's our 6-year anniversary as well, Jeff.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It is crazy.
It's the second longest relationship I've ever had.
That's not amazing. That's awesome.
So let me kick this off with one of my favorite things for 2024. And I say this because it has actually generated the most cash for me in 2024, but it's also going to die. It is going to die in 2025. You know what it is.
And see, I got my hat on.
You do. Yep. You a Cybertruck owner?
I'm not. I didn't buy one. I didn't when my note came up, I didn't do it.
So what that is the EV tax credit. So one of my favorite things for 2024 has been the fact that I signed up with the IRS's EV tax credit. So, this is one of those ideas that we give you guys that obviously does you no good. So we're going to get it out of the way, because if you tried to sign up today, by the time you actually got accepted, the program's probably going to end under President Trump. Him and Elon have both hinted to the fact that they don't want these tax credits going out for new and used EVs. So there's a very good chance that it gets kiboshed first part of 2025. But for me, it's actually been a great program as far as cash flow for the dealership. We have filed 75 of those in 2024. So
Whoa.
to the tune, we're just shy of $300,000 that we have received from the IRS, which for most of those have been in-house finance deals. So they lowered the cash on street or the cash basis of those cars that I otherwise would have financed into my portfolio. So it's been a great help to get these people into some of these hybrids and EVs. It helps them with their down payment. And it's been a great boost for dealership cash.
How many of those are Teslas, Jeff?
Probably 10, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah, and only one or two of those. Actually, one we did in-house. That was last tax season. So only one buy here, pay here Tesla. The rest have all been retail. And I've got 4 on the lot, and I've probably got, 20 Chevy Volts that I need to get sold before they cancel the program. But it's been good.
Yeah, well, that's good. You were on top of this. You were probably one of the first people I even heard talk about it, and you sent it to me. I didn't understand what you were talking about. I never got signed up. I only sold one Tesla Model Y. I do own a Tesla Model Y, which I really love, and I'm kind of glad they're ending this tax credit. I think it's garbage. It's really hurt the resale value on Teslas, I think. And for those of you out there that hadn't driven a Tesla, you want to talk about the things I love. Every time I get in that Model Y, I love that car more and more. The last month they gave us another free trial of self-drive, and FSD is almost perfection now, Jeff. I know you complained about the Cybertruck the other day and the FSD in it, but the Model Y is just, it's on time, man.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't want to get into the weeds, but I do feel like the newest version has gone backwards. I took a long drive on Wednesday with it, and it was stupid. It made a lot of dumb moves. So I don't know. It seems like it comes and goes for me, but yeah, that IRS tax credit will go away. And the question is, will all of those cars now be $4,000 cheaper because the tax credit went away?
Mm,
Or will some of those ones that were close to 25 go up because all those prices were they were all
yeah.
gravitating towards the 25,000 threshold that the used ones had to be in. So now the cheap ones will get cheaper because they're
Yep.
not propped up artificially with that
Yep.
$4,000 incentive. And the more expensive ones will go back to a normal depreciation curve because they're not being dragged down to the 25.
I think that's what you'll see. I think you see a lot of Model 3s go up in value, a lot of Model Ys go up in value, which should help all that. But I think, a lot of the other lower end EVs will go down in price, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, that's true. And I can vouch for it here. If I have any Chevy Volts left over when this program ends,
You're going to be
I'm
in trouble.
sure I'm going to have to discount them all to get them out of here, right? Because they
Yeah.
just won't be quite as valuable if they don't have a $4,000 gift attached to them, so to
For
speak.
sure. For
So what do
sure.
you got, Lou? Give us one of yours. What's in your favorite things of 2024?
Um, I tell you, I got back to buying a lot of cars myself in 2024, and I
Hmm.
know Jack Carter talked about this a lot, but back to the basics, kind of buying cars at CarMax, which I hadn't done for a couple years. Walking those cars, back to buying a lot of them myself, hands on, and I really enjoyed being able to do that. I know people dog on Manheim so much, but I tell you, I'm a fanboy of Manheim, and it's great to see the consistency uh, of a company for 20 or 30 years. The consistency of what you get when you get it. The CRs have gotten drastically better since 2020, all through COVID. And again, there's gonna be people that are gonna dog on me for saying how good Manheim has been, but I just believe they have a superior product out there, and I'm just happy to be able to buy cars sometimes a lot of times sight unseen, and get the product I'm expecting to
Hmm.
get.
Yeah.
That's counterintuitive, but I like it.
Yeah, that's interesting. I'm thinking it's probably has a lot to do with price point and types of cars and maybe even your local auction and the quality of the consigners. I know as I'm looking through the auction list this morning, I've gotten to the point where, man, there's a lot of Joe's Auto Sales, selling these cars, and it's like, oh yeah. I mean, if Joe doesn't want that, all-wheel drive, Chevy Highlander or a Toyota Highlander anymore, like I definitely don't want it, right? So if he can't move it, I don't want to buy it. I don't care how good the deal is. So there's something to be said about finding your niche and getting good at it, I think. I don't
Yeah.
know if more competition in the auction space is good or less. You argue that, well, if you don't like Anaheim, you don't like their fees, go buy somewhere else. And it's like, yeah, I'm sorry, man. In my region, there's nowhere else to go. I could try to get on ACV or backlots or whatever they're called now, or go to Odessa. Um, it's just the volume's not at those auctions in my area.
And same as me, but I almost consider my home auctions Florida now. So it's the volume's there, and it's good to see these really large new car dealer groups having like special auctions just for their inventory. I think that Manheim has embraced that model of special store auctions, which
Hmm.
creates a lot of trade in, a lot of dealer trades running at the auctions because of this. And I guess they had to do it to battle ACV.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, the shipping too. I mean, a lot of those new car guys, it's like hey, they can get I don't know what kind of deal they get from Manheim on the sell fee, but
Oh,
when
that's
they have
probably
to ship
so.
100 cars, down, that's a big expense for them,
Yeah.
right? So Manheim was trying to comp them for transportation, and now Manheim says, you know what, even better, we'll just send a camera up there and we'll do the sale on your back lot.
Well, they do that, but they also ship to the auction. A couple auctions that are central in Florida, which makes it easy.
Mm,
It's just and it's easier to ship cars as dealers from these big auctions. So, it's convenience for everybody, and I'm sure that the big new car franchises are getting richer because of it. But oh well, it's the way it is.
yeah. So one thing we'll plug, obviously, is our sponsors for the podcast is part of our favorite things. And we hear dealers complain a lot about the post sale, right? And
Yeah.
do the post sale inspection, buy the PSI, don't buy the PSI, enroll in Deal Shield, don't enroll in Deal Shield. It boils down to a law of averages and risk mitigation, right? They can do the exact same thing we can do. Now, you might say, well, I only pay $200 a car and I've returned 3 cars this month, so I'm ahead on my money. Yeah, see how long you can do that, right?
Yeah.
You might be able to beat them 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months. You might be able to beat Deal Shield, but you're not going to beat them consistently.
Well,
So
they'll go up on your rate.
yeah, exactly. It's all an algorithm. That's what I'm saying. You're not going to win, so just do it yourself, right? Which is what we talked about here at Buckeye with having your own PSI product. You can just reinsure it yourself, and then it doesn't matter if you win or lose.
100%. And Buckeye's the way to go. Reinsurance is the way to go. And we say this all the time. Now you got 4 weeks to get reinsurance done for 2024. If you haven't done it now, and we still see people in these groups going, who should I use as a warranty? Man, you've got to do it yourself. You got to warranty yourself. You got to get your CPI going. You got to get all these pieces of the puzzle going to make your dealership run like it should. And
Mhm.
Buckeye's a place to do it. Jeff, when you asked when you brought up this idea of what you're thankful for,
Mhm.
and this is coming right off the Buckeye ad, so we've stopped the Buckeye ad. So what I'm thankful for is our CPI process we put into place this year,
Interesting.
and
Okay.
how we all get bored in the business we do, right?
Okay.
And as my wife says all the time, we run 6 businesses. We have to buy the inventory, we have to recon the inventory, we have to sell the inventory, we got to finance the inventory. And then when you add CPI on top of it, what it can do is it is another business. So it it gives it gives some of us who are bored in what we normally do a chance to reinvent a new business without actually starting a new business, right? And
Okay.
so at the first of the year, I really struggled with our CPI had grown to the point where we were getting claims and we were having to mitigate customer complaints because of the claims and how long it was taking. And so we know a lot of people that do a lot of CPI, but I couldn't ever get to the point of someone telling me, okay, if you're doing CPI, this is what you have to do when claims come up. And I could never get a good process. So I had to build a process myself. So it took a couple months for us to really nail this down, but throughout 2024, our CPI has grown every month. We're going to have a huge month this month as well as last month when it comes to collecting. And
Hmm.
damages are going to be damages. You're going to, good dealers, I think, are, probably in the 30% claim rates, and average dealers are in the 50% claim rates. And we've learned how to stock parts because we sell a lot of the same vehicles. We
Hmm.
learned how to keep repos that we know we're going to use pieces of.
Hmm.
We've been able to do all these things to help um, get our claims done quicker. We've gone to different body shops and said, "Hey, can you help us with this?" And we still do some of it in house. I've even got where some of my regular mechanic technicians understand how to swap fenders and swap hoods and swap body
Yeah.
panels so that we can get things done quicker when we do have an
Yeah.
accident. And I think we've really got it nailed down now. So, thankful that the process of CPI claims handling and just CPI has become this whole new avenue for me to figure out.
Yeah. You kind of realize that you're an insurance company and a body shop as
Yeah,
well as all the other things you do, right?
Yep.
Yeah,
How
and
about
people aren't going to
what's
have
a
their insurance. I had this conversation earlier with my collector and shop manager, and we've got one of my beloved Kia Souls back there just piled up in a little mess because apparently this gentleman who had the car for about a month and a half decided to
oh,
broadside a deer or something, and whatever his story is. And of course, the full coverage insurance that he gave us at the time he left only lasted about 2 weeks and then it expired. We didn't get notice in time, or we weren't listed as lien holder. And then he thinks he would have automatically had our CPI product, which we didn't get notice of, so it didn't get added, let alone he
oh,
didn't pay for it. So,
oh,
anyways, it's a whole long story of if you think your customers have full coverage, good chance they don't. And those are the ones that are definitely going to get hit the side of a deer and total out your car regardless. So you might as well just get everyone on CPI from the beginning. And that's what my goal is going to be for 2025 is how do I make this product so attractive that I can get a large majority of my customers on it so that I can now treat it like its own business, right? I can not worry about claims. I can have people to handle those, assign an employee specifically on it to follow these claims through to the end and either fix the car or get them into another one. Yeah.
what's another thing you're thankful for?
I'd say this is an old one that we've used before, but it's come in really, really handy the last couple of months on a few incidences. We, as I think a lot of dealers did, is we went, and we've probably been doing this for maybe 4 or 5 years, but we went and attached Apple AirTags to every one of our dealer plates and every one of our jump boxes. So I went out and bought a whole slew of Apple AirTags, which I think you get them like 4 for $100 or something. And I just went in my phone and added them and just taped them to the back of every dealer plate and taped it to the back of every jump box that we have. And I'll tell you what, it's not a fallback for my employees not to look for their plates. I always tell them, hey man, if you can't find your plate, you need to go look, right? I'm not just a librarian trying to tell you where you left your plate at. But what's happened on times when we have sent it on test drives and for some reason we went back to those stupid magnets that you put on your dealer plate and you think it's going to stick to the back of the car, but it never does. And so
That's because
these
no car is made of metal anymore.
these plates freaking jettison themselves down the middle of a freeway and that plate goes sliding down the freeway. But luckily the AirTag stays on and I can ping it and send the salesman back to pick up his battered license plate off the freeway. But I haven't lost any this year. And that's been super handy. And then locating them when we leave them in cars or test drives, or even locating our jump boxes when we happen to leave them in a car or leave them somewhere. It's literally been such a huge time and money saver that these little AirTags have paid for themselves 2 or 3 times, I'm sure.
That's interesting. I've not done that, but I saw I was down in the office on Friday, putting test drive cars on tags on car stuff, and two or three of those dealer tags were so mangled,
Mm.
like you could tell they had come off 4 and 5 times, and just anyway, it was interesting to see.
Well, at
Um,
least you recovered them. All my low number, because in Utah they're all labeled, one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight as it goes up. I don't have anything below 10 anymore. They've
that's
all been lost, destroyed, gone somewhere. So, anyways, it doesn't cost me a ton to replace them, but it's just more out of the hassle and headache of, man, trying to locate these things sometimes becomes such a headache. So I definitely recommend you guys get the AirTags, put them on everything, put them on your keys, put them on your dog, your wife, whatever you're trying to keep track of,
that's funny.
right? Well, what else you got, Luke?
Um, I- you know, the consistency of our DMS, I'm very thankful for. Now, Jeff, you're not going to agree with me on this,
No, I'm okay.
but IDMS has been kicked down the road and spit out and all these things, but it's so consistent and it doesn't mess up my QuickBooks. It exports. I don't have to do all that. I reconcile every once in a while. I'm thankful for the simplicity of it. Could it do more? Yeah, but I like what it does, and I'm happy that it's stable, and I don't have to change anytime soon.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. I would definitely say I would probably put this in the larger category of software providers that maybe deliver what they say they will,
Yeah.
right? And don't try to hook you. Now, I don't know if I would put IDMS or Solera in that category, but I'm going to make a broader category. And of course, I'm going to put in companies like Blytzpay to say, hey, these guys are straightforward. Like I just talked to TJ today and I said, hey, you know, I need to switch my credit card processing for my dealership, right, which is a separate entity, and I've been using a physical terminal. Like, I need to switch that over because I've got this physical terminal. Like, it's stupid to have it. Why don't I just use you guys? And he said, yeah, well, XYZ might be a reason to keep your physical terminal with this company. And he was just straightforward with me,
That's
said,
great.
hey, whatever your rate is, if that's it, I don't think we can beat that right now because you have a physical terminal and you get to run that as a card present as opposed to their virtual terminal, which
Okay.
runs a card as not present. And that fee
Uh,
is a little bit more on those cards. So he kind of said straight up, based on the small volume that you're doing for down payments and your shop, it might not be economical for you. So I appreciate vendors like Blytzpay who are just straight honest with you. They're not trying to tie you into some long contract, get you hooked on something, all these promises up front, and then not deliver.
Agreed. Blytzpay has been great. And it is nice that there are some software providers out there that continue to charge the same amount and don't feel it necessary to go up 5% every, 6 months.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
One other thing we did this summer, which was fun for us, and again, another stupid idea that we do here in our showroom to just make the place a little more fun for both customers and employees. There's a website called Vevor, VEVOR.com, and they basically sell commercial grade appliances. So this summer, I bought both a slushy machine and a soft serve ice cream machine. They both were maybe $500-600 each. But what we do is we stick them out in the entryway, the kind of receiving area, and we'll just have slushies. It gets really hot here in Southern Utah, 110 degrees. And our customers just love being able to come in, hang out, while they're doing their application, they get an icy or they get a soft serve ice cream or something. And to be honest with you, the employees probably love it more than anybody. I think they're the ones that probably consume the majority of it. But it's one of those kind of fun little unique things that you can do in your dealership for both your customers and your employees, just to show that, you care. Like, you're trying to make it fun. You're trying to make this an enjoyable experience to be in your dealership, to buy a car. So something as simple as just, commercial grade appliances out of the box type stuff, not just a coffee machine, not just a can of soda, but
Yeah. That's pretty neat. Yeah, that's a great idea, especially down there. It gets so freaking hot.
yeah. I don't know what you would do in your area.
Well,
Like,
the ice cream
like
would
a
melt
sweet
like
tea?
immediately. Uh-huh.
Sweet tea? Is that what you guys just
See,
get a
we
tea
could, yeah, you
machine?
don't even need a machine for that, but
Oh, okay. Yeah. You
yeah,
just serve it up.
yeah, just brew it right there.
Oh, it's
Anyway,
interesting.
yeah,
Drink
you
it out of
know,
a mason jar? Is that all you guys have there?
yeah, you get mason jars, a little bit of ice, yeah, be good to go.
That's good. That sounds great.
Um, I tell you one thing I'm thankful for, Jeff, and this might sound a little corny, but every time we go to a convention or something, we meet so many new listeners that have that make us feel really good about ourselves. Oh,
Mhm.
it's great. I love listening to y'all. I've learned so much. Then they reach out on Facebook, and then I'll call pretty much anybody reaches out to me. I'll call them, and just talk to them and see what we can do to help because it's flattering more than anything. It builds my ego, and I really like that. So,
I
so
believe
I
it.
really appreciate it. I really appreciate the fanfare we get.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. It's been fun. And that's what we as we wrap up this episode, guys, just to talk to you about the next couple weeks, what we're gonna set up are how I built this revisited. So we're gonna try, or we are currently interviewing some of our favorite and our not favorite. So popular, unpopular. Just we took a whole mix of our previous How I Built This series, and we're doing an update and saying, hey, we talked to you 2-3 years ago. You told us about how you built your dealership and where you are. Now let's see what's happened over these last 3 years. Where are you now?
Yeah.
So that's going to be a really fun, I think, series going forward through the month of December. So be sure you're staying tuned.
Yeah. You know what's interesting is that these last 3 or 4 years have been a really interesting time. Probably one of the most interesting times we've seen in our business well, since 2008, 9, 10. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
so, it's been a good 10-year run. And then people had great years. And then you hear of people going out of business. So it is going to be truly interesting to talk to these folks who may have been on top of the world last time we talked to them, and now they may be on the bottom of the world, or they could have been on the bottom of the world when we talked to them last and on top of the world now. So it's going to really, and if you're stagnant, if you're even, I don't know what to say. That might be a good thing, right, Jeff?
That's what I'm hoping for. I'm stagnant, but it is funny because when I've reached out to these dealers, none of those emails have bounced back yet. So
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
guess they're still paying the hosting on their .com. So maybe maybe
Well, we know a
everyone's
couple of them. We know a couple of them are still in business.
yeah, we know a couple of them have done really, really well. So we're really excited to hear those updates. And based on some of the signature lines that they've responded, some of them have pivoted and they're doing
Yeah,
some new stuff. And so that's going to be kind of interesting as well.
saw
To
that.
wrap this up, Luke, with one of my final favorite things, and obviously a sponsor of the podcast, is TaxMax. So we launched our fourth quarter program today, which basically is for all of our current customers or recently paid off buy here, pay here customers. We will estimate your fourth quarter taxes, like your upcoming tax return based on your fourth quarter pay stub. So you bring me your most recent pay stub, I estimate what your tax return is going to be. And because you're such a good customer, I'm going to sell you a car today and defer that down payment all the way till February.
Yeah.
So it's a cool program that they run. It's great, great, great for your VIP customers because you already know them. You have a relationship. You'd sell them a car anyways. This just gives you an opportunity to sell them a slightly nicer car because you're committing some of that future tax return money.
Yeah, I mean, it's a really neat program. And then you carry on into the first of the year and you really get all that tax money up front quickly. Use the code podcast 2024 to get their VIP package. And it makes it so easy. I mean, you do nothing and it's there. It's money in your bank. So the last thing I'm thankful for, Jeff, is these repeat customers we get all the time. And I'm sure anybody out there that has a successful buy here, pay here store sees the same customers over and over and over again. And if you treat them right, using programs like TaxMax, using programs like Blytzpay, using program our warranty companies like Buckeye with your reinsurance company, it really builds value to these customers. How many customers can go and buy this type of car and get a warranty on it? Not many. And so all these things allow you to keep your customers and get your customers engaged with you more often. And, you know, our customers, they're unique and sometimes they can really be pains. But man, I'm so thankful for the great ones we have and the ones that continue to buy from us that make our business great and made our business great for 40 years. And so I'm very thankful for that.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, great, Luke. This has been fun, man. Happy Thanksgiving to you. Hope you and your family have a great time and tons of turducken and possum. What else do you guys eat out there?
Possum is usually on the menu first, and then turducken. Then we have turkey.
Follow it up with some raccoon and some.
I
mole.
just brined my turkey. Just brined my turkey this morning. I'll be
Oh, yeah.
smoking it early on Thanksgiving morning, which y'all be listening to right now. If you're listening right now, I'm probably smoking my turkey, and hopefully it goes well. If not, we're gonna be eating possum. So yeah.
Yeah. That sounds,
Raccoon.
I don't know. I guess if you brined your possum for 48 hours, it might taste so. All right, man. See ya.
See ya.
Thank you for listening. Please leave us a review. We'll catch you in the next episode.